G'day everyone and welcome. Today we're going to be taking a look at some of the new Holiday Ops 2024 tanks that Wargaming has now officially announced. As of the time I'm recording this, I am not 100% sure how all of these vehicles are actually being released, but I highly suspect most of them are going to be included as form of the loot boxes, as Wargaming has been doing in previous years. Now, what are these tanks, you might be asking? Well, we've got the Tier 9 German Tiger Mouse, the Tier 9 Soviet heavy tank, the Object 752, the Tier 8 Japanese heavy tank, the Type 63, as well as the Tier 8 American tank destroyer, the XM66F, the Tier 5 American medium tank, the ARMT, the Tier 5 American light tank, the Chaffee 594, sorry about that, as well as the Tier 3 British light tank, the A7E3, and as well we've got the Tier 2 Chinese light tank, the Vigor 6 ton. Now, they're not the nicest looking tanks in the world, I will full on admit, but today we're going to focus specifically on the Object 752. Now, yes, it's a Tier 9 Soviet heavy tank, as if we've got enough Soviet heavy tanks in the game, but it's actually unique, oh my god. What makes this thing unique? Well, for a start, you're seeing me use it right now, and that's the fact that this thing gets a 3-shot autoloader. Yes, it's not an auto reloader, well, a reverse auto reloader like what's on the IS-3A, it is just a standard autoloader. And, well, what are some of the kind of details about this? Well, it takes 3.2 seconds to fire in between each shot, so it'll take you 6.4 seconds to actually unload the entire clip. Each shot does 390 alpha damage, and the whole thing actually reloads in about 33 seconds. So it's not the fastest reloading and obviously doesn't have the highest DPM in the world, but this is actually really quite a solid autoloader because you can do up to 1,170 damage in a single clip, which is kind of nice. Being able to do this kind of burst damage in 6.4 seconds. Now, a lot of people don't actually expect that, especially from a vehicle kind of looking like this, right? So being able to do that damage to people and catching them unawares has actually been really, really quite good. Now, obviously, people, once they actually see these things and they start to learn about it, the situation may change. They may start to approach it a bit more cautiously about what they can and cannot do. But for me, it's been kind of fun so far to actually come across people and just like use the autoloader, trade like maybe 1 or 2 shots of HP. Not quite like that, but don't do that. That was a dumb thing by me. But here's the kind of situation I'm talking about. I've just gone up against a T-54 Heavy, which you may think is probably not the smartest thing in the world, but I've already dealt 2 shots of damage to him. I've bounced 1 shot, and well, what are we looking at here? Well, another 3 shot of damage there into his cupola, and we've already done 1,191 damage to him, which is a fantastic start. Now, the armor on this thing is not necessarily fantastic, but you can absolutely get it to work, and provided you do manage to get some cool, good angling and stuff, you can actually bounce quite a fair few shots. I wouldn't necessarily rely on it though, because it's not fantastic. So just don't rely on this kind of armor. I say that as I'm bouncing shots from a 60 TP. But yeah, from my experience so far, the armor has been working okay, but nothing truly stellar. Now, the penetration on this thing is less than stellar. It's why I'm actually using my press account here, and I'm using a lot of premium ammunition, is because of the fact I've only got 240 penetration on the standard rounds, and the premium shells, they quote-unquote only go up to 310 millimeters. So if I'm trying to deal with all these kind of like heavy tanks here in this kind of an alley here, I don't necessarily want to be using stuff that has 240 millimeters of penetration, which is, yeah, not great. We do get a nice shot there into the back of that Semovient there, I think. I can't actually see that properly, unfortunately, but yes, that Italian tank destroyer there. Managed to actually set him on fire temporarily, which is kind of nice. Fortunately, we do screw up the rest of the clip there, but well, so be it. So I've spoken to you a little bit about the actual autoloader itself. Let's talk about a little bit some of the other stats on that of this vehicle. It's got a aim time of 3.26 seconds base. So what does that mean? With a intra-clip reload of 3.2 seconds, obviously using crew skills, food, equipment, etc., you can actually get the aim time to be less than the intra-clip reload, which is obviously a nice trait to actually be having. You got a base dispersion of 0.4, which is obviously not fantastic. You don't necessarily want to be sniping with this thing, like, so you do want to be kind of getting up and close and trying to, well, use that autoloader. You won't be able to use your autoloader quite as well as something like a T57 Heavy, for example, but it still is really quite good at dealing with those kind of guys that just don't know about this thing yet. Like trading one shot of damage maybe, or even blocking a shot of damage and then being able to put 2 or even 3 into them in return is obviously a very good trade. Unfortunately though, if you get left in these kind of situations where it's you against the world, unless you have the clip potential to be taking out literally everyone in a single clip, it's not going to go great for you. Just flat out, you won't be able to make it through. Yeah, like I'm stuck in this situation here. I'm going up against a T57 Heavy, I'm going up against an Italian tank destroyer, and there is more on the way, let's put it that way. So in this situation here, having that autoloader is what actually enables me to take out the T57, but I just don't have the reload here to be able to deal with the FV 4005 as well as the Italian TD. My only hope here is that FV bounces, and yeah, no. Dude just comes around and absolutely smacks me with an AP shell. But yeah, here's another situation. Like, this Lorraine 40T has no idea I've got a 3-shot autoloader, and he just sits there and he absolutely gets annihilated by me. Now, this Centurion 7-1, I don't know what he was thinking firing Hesh. Maybe he thought, oh, new tank, thinly armored, maybe I can penetrate that. Not quite, and he does bounce that Hesh shell. So the armor, obviously, like that's a bit of a weird test to see there, but you can absolutely see what we can do to stuff like that Lorraine 40T. Like, he just didn't know. We tracked him and just dealt a huge amount of damage to him. He's like practically dead in this situation here, which is obviously of great benefit to us. Now, as I was saying before, the mobility on the thing is not fantastic. It only goes 35 kilometers an hour forwards. We've got a 12.7 power to weight ratio, and that's just base. But yeah, the armor on this thing, as you can see, this thing's got 1,750 hit points, so not bad for a vehicle like this. Obviously, we're talking about only 200 hit points left than what we had on the Tiger Mouse, so you're relatively healthy and fairly in line with the rest of the vehicles at this tier. But yeah, like, what are my thoughts overall on this vehicle? Just been having able to play it. I've actually been really quite enjoying it. It's just been a fun, like, an enjoyable vehicle for me to play. It's not too complicated to use the autoloader. You just find yourself a position, you get into a bit of a brawling scenario, you surround yourself with a couple of allies, and you just go to town, really. You just play like you normally would, apart from instead of trading 1-for-1 with like other heavy tanks, you just try and trade for one shot for 3 shots of damage. And it's really been quite enjoyable for me to play. Now, we see an SDA2 here caught out in the open. We take a shot at him. Lorraine forgets we have an autoloader. We clap him. And we do sneak one more. Oh, no, we don't. We just missed that SDA2. But regardless, like, at the moment, obviously, people aren't fully aware of what this vehicle has, but when people do learn about it, obviously, the situation will change. Here's one more final clip here of me, like, using the fact that I can get 1 shot of damage, and I'm just going to pump a couple there into the over. Anyhow, that's all I've really got to say on this vehicle. It's definitely been one of the more fun ones for me from the new tanks that are going to be included, so if you do get it, hopefully you enjoy it. On this Friday though, I will be doing a 15,000 gold prize pool giveaway using a challenge tool. That's with the link in the description. Come join my stream on December 1st. My Twitch link is also in the description there for a chance to win a share of that 15,000 gold prize pool. And that's unfortunately Asia server only, but that's the way it is. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and you're going to want to check these videos here to see more of the Holiday Ops 2024 tanks.